Hello students. Today we are going to discuss about remote sensing and GIS, how it is useful in our civil engineering field and also how it is useful in our day-to-day life problem solving matters. We can solve anything which is on space, which is in space, which is on earth, beneath the earth, oceanography, all the subjects we can solve with this technology, with these tools, with this technology, with the various types of softwares, and we can solve our problem. We will in detail, in this chapter, we will study in detail what is remote sensing and what is the fundamental of remote sensing, what actually happens in remote sensing, and how the image, the satellite image, what other parameters we can check and we can obtain decision making information can be known in this chapter. Moving further, first of all, we will discuss what is remote sensing. Student, what is remote sensing? If in a very simple sense, I tell you, remote sensing means the major important part in our body, it works as, that is eye. Eye works as a remote sensor. Means what? We can see, we can take a decision, we can bifurcate the things, we can analyze the things, and finally we provide that information to us and take a decision. There is a very simple sense, remote sensing. So in human body, I act as a remote sensor. Now, simple, if I again tell you that you are reading some statement right now, that statement you are reading, but without coming into that contact, you are understanding the statement. Even that is known as remote sensing process. See, if you are reading this statement and if you are seeing the image shown without touching here, then that process is remote sensing. Your eye is working as remote sensing process, right? So here in the figure, you can see natural remote sensing. What is natural remote sensing actually? See, I am seeing, for example, a forest, a farm, then I am receiving some waves, some information from that, and I am giving it to my brain. And that brain, the process which the brain is doing is known as analysis. And finally, I am getting some information, some knowledge, and I am bifurcating that. So what can I bifurcate? Is there in a farm the which type of crop? There are male, female, boy, animal, plants. That is what I am identifying, which is known as natural remote sensing process, which we are everyday using. Similarly, we move on further. You can see here the image which I have shown of the eye and ear, and similar next to it, similarly I have shown the binocular and the camera. Means what? The eye, which is sending the rays to the object, ear is the way which is receiving the object, and we are taking decision. Similarly, the brain is also taking the decision, and finally we are retrieving some information to it. So technically, in remote sensing process also, cameras are sensor, we are capturing the image, and finally we are analyzing and we are using it for technical purpose. Now, there are many other similar familiar form you have heard, that is MRI. What is MRI? Magnetic resonance imaging. MRI. We used to do MRI. It is sonograms, X-rays. This means energy produced from inside the body, right? X-rays. We take example of X-ray. What is X-ray? X-ray gives us the information of inside body. Means rays are ingressed into the body and we are getting the image of that ingressed rays, and actually we are getting the information about our bones or any dismantle in our bone can be known by that imaging sense. Means the rays are sent, the rays are back, and hence similarly we are getting the information about our body. Similarly, we are doing the MRI. Any damage, inside damage, can be known through MRI. Again, while doing MRI, there is the rays which are passing through and giving us the inbuilt information of our body. So this is how I guess that the sense have made in your mind that what actually remote sensing means. This is what we everyday use remote sensing in our day-to-day life. Now, further on, we will go in a technical sense what is remote sensing. Yes, here I have shown that you can see the image which is continuously moving, that is our earth. Earth is continuously moving and you can see the some patches of it, and that is the information which we are gathering, right? How it will work now. You can see technically it goes in such a way that the science of acquiring information about the earth using instruments which are remote to the earth's surface, usually from aircraft or space. And that is the major point, that it does not come into contact with it. And without that, we are gaining the information. So you can see here the information which we are gaining is exact particular information which is very accurate, that is present on ground. That thing we are getting through the image itself from the space, that is from satellite. We will further on discuss what is satellite, from where the data is collected, how is collected, what will be helpful, how it will be analyzed, everything can be known. Now, here you can see I have kept the image of artificial remote sensing. We will discuss what is artificial remote sensing. Here you can see the natural remote sensing. Already we have discussed. We are looking to some object. We are taking the information from it, means the rays of it we are taking to our brain. Brain is analyzing and finally we are deciding and decision we are making. The same process is done in artificial remote sensing process. First of all, we have the sensors, means we have one type of camera which will be throwing the rays to the object, that will be stored and we are analyzing, and finally we are making some or the other output which is helpful to us. That is artificial process, which is very simple, I have shown here. So students, you have to remember here the technical definition. It is important, it might be asked. So technical definition should be properly remember, that without coming into physical contact to it, we can extract the information of earth surface, right? So here satellite, sensors, platform, orbit, everything comes into the parameter and the picture. We will see how accurately it will work. Next, here, now, in a very technical sense, I would like to draw your attention that how remote sensing works. You can see here, the very much image you can see, the rays are coming, rays are going back, and some other the rays are deflected. So here the incident rays are coming, means from where the source we have provided the rays are coming, they are extracting some information from where they touches the ray and they are going back. That is remote sensing. Remote sensing is an art and science of acquiring information about our surface without actually being in contact with it. It is done by sensing, recording, and reflected or emitted energy and processing, analyzing, and applying that information. This is what I am discussing it technically. We have already discussed that artificial process in previous slide and natural process. But this you have to remember technical terminologies to explain in technically manner that what is remote sensing, right? So here the important words are, it is done by sensing, recording, reflected or emitted energy, and processing, analyzing, and applying that information, right? The word reflected, recording, and emitted energy are important. Next, you can see here remote sensing technique actually required the valuable data and it provides us the major analysis which will help to develop our nation in this sector. Student, you all know there are two major firms for space technology are working in our country. Which are the two firms? You might be knowing. First is ISRO, that is Indian Space Research Organization, and second is PRL, that is Physical Research Laboratory. Right? You all know that our Department of Space of our country has a good position and has a good achievement in all over world. So this is very important, and through that only we are gathering many information, we are analyzing many things, and we are doing research and we are developing our nation anyhow, right? So here technically even I have shown the image. You can see I have in one circle there is a sensor, other circle object to be sensed, and you can see the sensor and object is connected by some radiation, some waves, some light, or some or the other way, or frequency or wavelength. What is that known as? Electromagnetic radiation. Student, you have heard about electromagnetic radiation in your high schools, right? We will further on discuss to this in detail because remote sensing is very much into this electromagnetic radiation, and by knowing that only we can further on move to what is remote sensing and how it can be useful to us, right? So the primary image I would like to show here, you can see the right downside image. This shows the remote sensing process. Okay.